Rob.
Tony.
And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the And I'm Rob.
I'm Tony.
AKA Warshack. And today we're going to go over part 6. Yes, we're at
AKA Tony.
episode 6 of the Old Gods, or Whispers of the Old Gods. And we've messed that up almost every episode now, but
Yeah.
finally we got it down pat.
You have.
This video should be coming out on Saturday. This is when we plan to release these. There have been a lot of questions on like, when are you doing these? It seems to be different times every week. It's actually been the same time for the past 5 weeks. It's Friday night, Saturday morning. Definitely try to get the Saturday morning mark. But off the bat, first card we're taking a look at for this week is, Tony, you can carry it off on that.
Okay, I'll do the first one. The first one is Possessed Villagers. A 1-drop, 1/1, Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 Shadow Beast. So essentially, it's a 1-drop, 2/2. And some people argue that this card is worse than the Argent Squire for Zoo. But I don't necessarily think that's true because you can Power Overwhelming this card and you can still get a benefit out of it. You can Mortal Coil this card if you really need a cycle and you can still get a benefit out of it. It kind of goes 1 for 1 in a lot of situations. You kill another 1-drop or whatever, you know. And
it also combos with any sort of Death Rattle synergy you may have.
Yeah, that's true. That's also a very good point. So,
but the problem is, I doubt they'll waste his silence on it. So this Death Rattle is something that you can you will assume, yeah, you'll assume that you'll be able to get this Death Rattle, 99.9% of the time, because wasting a silence on this type of Death Rattle doesn't seem to be worth it when you've got cards like I was gonna say Void Caller, but that card's leaving us, right? Void Caller, that's a Nax card.
Is it? Yeah, it might be.
So anyway, cards with favorable Death Rattles. Normally cards with decent Death Rattles are around the 4-drop or higher. It seems decent. Doesn't seem bad. It doesn't even belong to any particular class.
Yeah, the Shadow Beast I assume is going to be a demon of some sort.
That would make sense.
It seems like it. I haven't seen the token for it yet. And one last note on this is that it's a common, so you can expect it to appear pretty often in Arena. I think it's a solid Arena card.
I think it's a solid Arena card as well.
It is a solid 1-drop for Arena, so yeah.
All right, moving on to our next card, we've got Sawgoth the Slither. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Holy shit, we are on a roll today, guys. 1 out of 1. All right, so he's a 9-drop, 5/9. He has Taunt, and he says he can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. And he's a legendary minion, doesn't belong to any particular class. His picture looks quite cool. His name is decently long, so he must be powerful.
Look how fucking giant he is compared to those trees. Oh my god.
He's one
massive.
of the larger faceless manipulator type of squiggly octopus
Yeah, he's
monsters.
one of the faceless, I guess, clan.
So as he resembles a bigger version of the Arcane Nullifier, in my opinion. He has the Taunt ability. He has the can't be targeted by hero powers or spells. He's just a bigger version. He's not a mech.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they're introducing larger creatures that can't be targeted by hero power and spells, but 9 mana...
Because it forces trades.
It does force trades, and it forces some... For 8 mana, I think you'd be playable. Because then you could maybe pump out a hero power in there too. Or maybe you have a discount, and then you could throw in a 3-drop. But 9 mana, man, you play this guy, you can't do anything else, and you're literally hoping that they can't... I mean, obviously they can't waste spells and can't be targeted by hero powers, but... Only having 5 attack and 9 HP, it just seems a little underwhelming, but I like it. Like, I like the card, I like what it stands for.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else right now that's as big as this creature that has that can't be targeted.
Yeah,
by
there's no
spells and
really
hero power.
huge taunts right now. Druids have, their
Ironbark.
7-drop 5/8s and then the Ironbark 8/8.
Well, there's
for
big
8.
taunts, but there's no big taunts that can't be targeted
Well,
by
yeah,
hero
because
power.
if people are just
most of
going
the
to
time
hit
they
into
polymorph,
execute or polymorph, yeah, exactly. So.
But this guy says no to that. I just don't see where he fits in because he doesn't belong to a
hard
particular
control, like super hard. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like one of those legendaries that they kind of just they didn't slap him together because they did put thought behind him to put.
He'd be good to get out of, like your Paltris, and he'd be good to get out of like things like that. In Arena, if you get him, he'd actually be super solid because how can they trade into him?
Yeah,
You'd have to kill their entire board. You gain such a huge tempo.
Yeah, but the problem is most cards that are like above a 6-drop have more than 5 HP, so they're actually going to live if they trade into this guy, which is why the 5/9 is... He's a Sonaris.
If he was a 6-drop, 6/9 with that ability... Sorry.
Does Sonaris have 9 or...
Not... Sonaris, I think he's a 8/7 or something. Oh, no, like 8/6 or something.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Does he only have 5?
He's a 5-attack creature, Tom.
5 attack?
Yes!
Who am I thinking of?
I have no fucking clue. We're moving on to the next card.
Yeah.
When you said 7 or 8, I was gone at that point.
I might have been thinking Marlorn, who's
yeah,
like
Malorn's a
9/7.
9/7.
That's probably what I was thinking of.
Yeah, he's like a 5/8 or a 5/9. I'm pretty sure he's a 5/8 though. I'm gonna lock in at 5/8. That's my deal. Let's go on.
This card Okay. This card is a
Deal or no deal?
druid? Druid card, yes. Okay, it's Wisps of the Old Gods, kind of a play on words from the expansion. 7-drop. Choose one, it's a rare. Summon 7 1/1 Wisps or give your minions +2/+2. So, essentially, it is. What was it? It was like a 5-drop that did something like that. They already had something like that. Wisps. Do you remember there's a Druid card?
It's a 6-drop. And it says
Add 5 1/1s.
Add 5. No, it can't be a 6-drop. It's a 5-drop then.
5, yeah.
It's a 5-drop, and it gives you the ability to play 4 or 5 wisps, and then it also has the ability to give a creature 5/5 plus 5/5 with taunt. It has 2 options. I just said 2 options. Hold on. 2 options. So this one also has the 2 options, which is what we've seen Druid have in the past. You've got the choice factor, which is really nice.
Yeah. So. Either you have super board presence already. It's 7 mana, and you have to have a pretty good board presence to benefit from that second one. Because why wouldn't, like, a Mark of the Wild, so what, 2-drop? If you only have one...
Mark of the Wild, a 2-drop, give everything +1/+1. In my opinion, this card's really fucking bad.
Yeah. And then the Wisp just died too.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some cool synergies with it, though. They wouldn't just release this card for no fucking reason. Unless they just needed to give Druids, like, a really shitty legendary, but they wanted to, like, make it look like they were trying, kind of. So they're just like, oh... Here's a bunch of stuff. Does it do anything? No.
I like the art. A bunch of angry fucking wisps flying around everywhere.
There's actually the art with this goes along with when you're in the Caverns of Time, the raid. There's a point at which a whole bunch of wisps come out and they like defeat the boss because there's so many wisps. He's like killing all the wisps.
Are they the red ones?
I don't know if they're red
Most
ones.
Wisps are the bluish color.
Anyway, the wisps fucked up. The wisps fucked up this boss. It was really cool.
But anyway, final thoughts on the card. It's
like love bugs.
We'll have to see where it fits in.
Yeah. All right, we've got Thistletea. This is a card Dog went over. He actually went over it a lot better than I think we will, so I'll just basically copied what he said. First, let's actually go over what it is. It's a 6-drop. It's a rogue spell, and it says draw a card. Good for rogue. Add 2 extra copies of it to your hand. So we'll put out a couple examples here. Let's say, well, first of all, it's an RNG card. If you draw a shitty card and it makes 3 copies, you end up with 3 copies of it. It won't do you much good. But let's say you draw, the card you draw is like a preparation. Now you have 3 preps in your hand.
And you win.
You basically win. You could draw Azure Drakes. So, you know, you're able to keep drawing from those and pump out that +1 spell power.
Eviscerates for constant burst.
Eviscerates. So it's basically an RNG card. Depending on what card it gives you will definitely change the way the game plays out. I like this card, but I don't like the fact that, you know, it's completely RNG. Who the fuck knows what your next card's going to be? Like, you know, there's a big difference between making, fucking 3 Fan of Knives to 3 Preps or 3 Malagoses or 3 Ezra Drakes.
There was a really cool example he put for Mill Rogue. The fact that your Cold Lights and gaining up your Cold Lights, your chances to draw the Cold Lights starts to greatly increase over time as you play them. Yeah. So if you have a chance to then double them again, then you have even more gang up style potential. You know what I mean? And so that's a solid point. So it's better for like if Control Rogue maybe becomes a thing, you know, getting some of the removal, getting multiple Assassin's Blades or things like that, very high priority cards, it might be really helpful. But
I'm not saying it's not helpful. I'm just saying the card is complete RNG.
Yeah, it really is. At the end of the day.
Yeah, but I'm sure it'll be played, and I'm sure it'll, you know, make for some crazy plays. And also, to add on to what you're saying with the Cold Lights and the mill decks, the problem with this, though, it doesn't, because it's not adding it to your deck, it's adding it to your hand. Most of the time, if you're running Cold Lights, you're almost overdrawing yourself. Yeah. So adding cards to your hand may, in fact, not be the best plan.
Most of the time.
Yeah. But, I mean, who knows? The card's not out yet. We'll see what happens with it, and we'll see what it does. But on paper, looks good. It's just one of those.
It'll be fun.
I just don't like RNG. Like, this is, like, it's just so much based on just the random factor, whatever you're going to draw. There's no skill involved with this card. I mean, maybe what you get out of it and how you use those cards is actually come down to your understanding of the class and utilizing those cards to the best of your ability. But the card that it gives you, you have no fucking control over that, which I don't like at all.
Indeed, I agree.
All right, so we have Twilight. Did you go?
You went over the last one. Yeah. So this one is a 4-drop neutral epic. It's 4-drop 1/1 Twilight Summoner. Death Rattle, when it dies, summon a 5/5 Faceless Destroyer. So
is it a vanilla card, the Faceless Destroyer? I haven't seen this card
Pretty
before.
sure. I haven't seen the token for it, but it doesn't say, usually when it has something, it'll say with Taunt or with Divine Shield or whatever.
Okay. So I
It
assume that
seems-
the Faceless Destroyer has no ability whatsoever.
And all the faceless cards so far have had no tag.
No archetype.
Archetype or whatever you want to call it. I think they call it a tag. But so 4-drop 1/1 stats, horrible, but that's fine. And then it dies,
Rip to Earthshock.
and you become Earthshock would completely fuck this card up. And then, but when it dies, you get a 5/5. So essentially, stat-wise, you get a 4-drop 6/6.
It basically reminds me of an egg, the new Nerubian egg.
Yeah. So it's
a Nerubian egg that can attack. Instead of making it 4/4, it makes a 5/5.
So a lot of people like it because of that. And a lot of people think it might see some replacement of the egg. The egg is just so early, though, they can get coined out.
And you
on
can
turn
combo it
1.
with Abusive Sergeant and stuff like
Yeah.
this. But so we might actually see the phasing out of Defender. I think we actually might see I don't know, it depends. Because most people ran the Defender of Arguses.
Or the Sun Furies.
Or the Sun Furies to be able to put next to the egg so that you have to kill the egg to get through to them. And the egg I'm talking about is Nerubian Egg because it was a 0/2 Death Rattle card. So if you just played the egg, you had no way to kill it. It would just sit there.
Right.
But now this card has a chance to kill itself to bring out this Faceless Destroyer. So essentially you're getting a 6/6 in stats out of a 4-drop, which is insane because they have to replace that 4-drop.
Also, Hobgoblin Synergy. Am I right? In that new Dark Shire card or whatever, the one that gives +1 health to 1 health minions. Hobgoblin Darkshire Paladin with
New
Twilight
deck.
Summoner.
New deck.
Brand new. Totally Kappa. Maybe.
All right, we got Embrace the Shadow, a revolutionary new card in the Priest class. This is going to be, without a doubt, the next biggest thing besides fucking Silly Bands. So, and check this shit out.
Silly Bands.
Check
Holy
this shit
fucking
It's a 2-drop. You heard? It's an epic. Really sick stuff. This turn and this turn only, your healing effects deals damage instead. That's fucking disgusting.
Kappa. Yeah, look at Saitama's face. It's just like all crunched
And then
up.
just for the a cheap price of 2 more mana, you can summon a 3/5 that does exactly the same thing as this, but stays forever until the creature dies. So for essentially 2 more mana,
I'm making Saitama open his mouth and shit. Sorry. Go on.
for 2 more mana,
You
you
get a
can get a
3/5 body.
3/5 body.
And with the chance of it living for multiple turns.
That's what I'm saying. But why? An epic.
Okay, so we have all the cards have not been released yet, so there could be some decent healing spells that could do some burn, like the flash heals and stuff like that. But with Light of Naruto, the Light of Naru, phasing out of standard.
I would just spit my coffee all over myself.
With Light of Naru leaving, you don't really have a good early game chance to. In standard, to let's say it's turn 2, you play this, coin Light of Naru.
Yeah, and
you
then
can
turn
get the-
3, Light of Sasuke, and then the Darkness of Sakura. Really good combination.
And then Orochimaru Spirit.
Turn 5 Orochimaru, your opponents can't play their rituals. Solid card.
We've been watching too much Naruto.
Yes, we have.
I haven't watched in a while.
No,
Anyway,
I haven't.
the card is very slow. Not slow, but very.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like it either. What's funny is
Deathwing-
even Team Liquid didn't like that card, and they announced the card.
You're up.
Oh, Deathwing Dragon Lord.
Cool.
The art is very cool. It's a 10-drop, 12/12 dragon. Death Rattle, you put all the dragons from your hand into the battlefield. Wow. That's a lot of dragons. Most dragons are pretty high in stats, at least the ones that you would run outside of like a Dragon Priest deck. Most of the dragons are 5 drops and higher. Azure Drake, there's that 4-drop force. What's that one? 4/6
Twilight Guardian.
Twilight Guardian.
But it's a battle cry.
Yeah, that's a
which means
battle
it'll
cry.
be a 2/6.
But like, let's say you have Ysera and maybe a couple other higher drops. Chromagus, and then there's that new one.
The one that's a 2. I actually
The
think,
2/8.
Yeah, it's a 2/8 at the beginning of your turn. Double this minion's attack.
That's pretty good card if you can play it for free. So
Yeah, so hopefully the cards he brings out do not have battle cries,
Yeah.
which is very popular.
Chilmal has Death Rattle. So I mean, there's a lot of cards that could very much benefit off of playing this. I mean, if it gets silenced, it's still a 12/12 body, and if it gets killed, Polymorph is worst case scenario.
It's one of those cards that when it comes out, if the guy the little dwarf dude that likes to kill really large creatures decides he wants to, throw down what he's got onto their
But
death wing.
apparently BGH is getting nerfed, guys.
Whatever. We don't know
Apparently.
anything yet, so we can't assume.
Yeah.
You know what people say when you assume? You make an ass out of me. What is it? Ass out of me and you? You make, you make an ass out of me and you or some shit like anyway. So if you BGH this guy without silencing him, the effects could in fact be worse than this actual, the 12-12 himself. Which makes it come down to cards like Polymorph and Hex coming into play. Because normally right now, you go against a mage, when's the last time you saw a fucking Tempo mage play Polymorph? They don't.
Not many. The only people that play him now are
I played. Go on.
Some freeze mages.
Yeah, freeze me, not even, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Polymorph actually being played in the mage deck in a really long time. So cards like this will bring about cards that make creatures transform into other things, so you can move around. Not having to silence them and also being able to deal with them effectively, which again slows down the meta because you're playing large, high-cost CC cards.
Who's the guy that makes the 1/1 squirrel or 5/5?
We're talking.
Tank Master Overstark.
Tank Master Overstark. It's 3-drop, 3/3.
Brand new to the meta.
All right, so we got Servant of Yogg-Saron. Stop giving me these RNG cards. This is the second RNG card we've had. All right, so we always know what I'm going to say about this guy, but we'll go over the stats anyway. Well, he looks cool. Tentacle porn going on. Jesus Christ, man. How many tentacles you got coming out of yourself anyway?
Another faceless character.
So he's a 5-drop, 5/4. So the stats, this is mostly the stats of a 4-drop. 4-drop, 5/4 are very popular. So it's a 5-drop, 5/4, which means that the ability of it has to compensate for those lacking of stats. And it says Battlecry cast a random spell that costs 5 or less targets chosen randomly. So this is basically a mini Yogg in respects to what its ability will do. As Yogg says, cast any spell. This guy is 5 or less. And then for targeting purposes, it targets whatever. Most of the time, I think this will actually benefit you more than helping your opponent, just because if the Yogg, if it has basically the same effect, and the results on Yogg have shown that Yogg will help you more like 3/4 of the time and will help your opponent 1/4. So statistically, this guy should help the person playing it more so than the person that they're going against. Well, but again, this is RNG.
But to add on to that, not even so, because of the first 5 mana, you have so many direct targeting abilities. Your fireballs, frostbolts, buffs, silences, heals, things like that. But from 6 or higher, a lot of them have to deal with the board. Specifically, your Twisting Nethers, your Brawls, your...
Brawl's 5 mana, Tony.
Oh shit, that's right. But you know what I mean. Like a lot of it has to deal with the board itself.
Okay, so what you're referring to when you're talking about the actual the spell cost of these cards that it's going to choose is that 1 to 5 drops or 0 to 1 or 0 to 5, I should say.
Very target
based. More so is the 5 or the 6 to 10, which would be more field and untargeted.
You would agree with that?
Yeah.
Though.
I don't say I want to agree with it yet because I haven't actually looked this up. I don't want to agree to something I haven't done any research in, but I can see where you're going. Cards like Lay on Hands. Mostly, no matter who casts it, the card that it doesn't matter who casts it. But let's say it heals your opponent for 8, you still draw 3 cards. So even though that there was some negative in there, you still got positive out of it.
Yeah. But, this guy could Blessings of King someone else's.
You're exactly right, and this is the RNG factor about it. But it's just one of those things. It's one of those cards. With Hearthstone, there's going to be RNG cards like this, but it seems like the first RNG. 3 to 4 weeks. They were very light on the amount of cards that said random this, random that.
It was very situation based, very skillfully played. So
yeah, and now we're getting into whatever card you
ever
draw.
since Yogg was announced.
Yeah,
it's RNG nonsense. Anyway, there it goes on to it. This is mine. Okay, yeah. So this is a Faceless Summoner, which this card is going to be very difficult to deal with. It's really a 6-drop, 5/5 common. Summon a random 3-cost minion. So even though its stats are under curve,
his stats really aren't even that bad.
He's a
5/5, he's a Tharzan, but he summons a random 3-cost minion.
Yeah, so and he's a common. So in Arena, your chances of getting this are very high per arena run. And you have the chance of playing, a 3-cost. You can get a 3/3, you can get a 3/4, you can...
Spider Tank, Harvest Golem.
And then it becomes, if it's a 3/4, essentially you have 8-9 in stats on a 6-drop. and board presence, which is incredibly important in Arena.
Yeah, most 3-drops, like you come across some 2-drops that are 1/1 in stats. So playing Mounted Raptor and things like that, you know, the most value you're going to get out of it is kind of capped off at around like 5/5.
Mounted Raptor is the 1-drops.
Yeah. My bad. It's Shredder.
Yeah.
For some reason, why did I say Mounted Raptor? Anyway, Shredder, you get your 2-drops, but sometimes you get like a Novice Engineer, a Jeweled Scarab, cards like that really their stats. The 2-drops have the highest variance in like stat, how good they are. But 3-drops, most 3-drops are very good.
And also, this is a battle cry. If you get Arcane Golem, you can immediately attack with that when it's summoned.
That's
Arcane, a 4/2 taunt or charge with no mana crystal gain to the other opponent. That's insane.
That's a 9/7 for 6-drop that can attack with 4 damage. That's insane.
Yeah.
So really good arena card. It'll probably be seen in ranked play as well due to the fact that it's a common and
there's a lot of solid 6-drops.
And with Brand, you know, Brand combos it, summons 2 3-drops. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff to be said. There's a lot of stuff to be seen. Again, part of that randomness. But I mean, summon a random 3-cost minion, I would say is better than playing a random spell that costs 5 or less that targets a random thing.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, this just adds to the kind of RNG bullshit.
Whatever.
It's so good.
I thought it was a cool card.
It is cool.
I like it. Shadowcaster, I actually saw this card and I really, really liked it. So it's a 5-drop, 4/4. Battle Cry, guess what, guys? You can actually choose this time. A friendly minion, add a 1/1 copy to your hand, and that costs 1. So essentially, the first thing I thought was Azure Drake. Just because of, you think of Rogue, there's almost 2 Azure Drakes in every single freaking Rogue deck. You also can use it on Van Cleef. Van Cleef will keep its ability, and then you can rebuff a Van Cleef back up. But, you know, most of the time I think you're going to be using this for the ability the card that you're copying has more so than the actual stats because it's going to be a 1/1, of course.
Absolutely.
So whether you're using on an Azure Drake, a Van Cleef, an SI Agent,
another Tharzan,
a Tharzan, you're exactly right, or maybe even Malygos, like you had mentioned.
Malygos would be scary.
I think it's pretty decent. I wish this was like a 4-drop 3/3, just to kind of make up for the 4-drop slot, because didn't they release a Rogue Legendary that's a 5-drop already?
No, Zarly it's a 4-drop 3/2.
Oh, it was a 4-drop.
With the Battle Cry and Death Rattle. That's a 4-drop. So this is a 5-drop epic, which is pretty.
Okay.
I think it works. I think too early would. I mean, because if you had Malygos. So let's say best case scenario, Malygos lives a turn, whether you can seal it or whatever. Shadowcaster in 5, you get a copy of Malygos, it costs 1. You play Malygos, you now have plus 10 spell power with 4 mana left. You're very limited to what you can play. I mean, you can still burn 2 Abysses and do 28 damage with each one, or 13 damage with each Sinister Strike. But given that extra mana might be even more catastrophic for rogues. So, because a rogue can do a lot with little.
Rogue can do a lot with a little.
So I personally think it's appropriately statted.
Okay, I would have to agree with you. I would have to say I agree. I think its stats are fine.
I love Rogue.
Looking at that.
I love Rogue.
All right.
Forlorn Stalker. It is a 3-drop 4/2. Decent stats. It's an Arcane Golem without haste or the ability to give a mana crystal to your opponent. Battle Cry. You give all minions with Death Rattle in your hand, +1/+1. Return of Undertaker Death Rattle Hunter. You think so, Rob?
What?
The return of the Death Rattle Hunter.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Maybe with it going more towards control. Hunter, they're really trying to put some sort of later game with buffing creatures and things like that.
He has Red Riding Hood's hood on.
He indeed does. A lot of people are really happy that they're starting to do some Worgen art. There's not enough Worgen cards. I think this is the 3rd or 4th.
I agree.
Only like maybe 4.
They covered most of them, but either way.
Yeah. So with that Battle Cry, it's pretty slow.
Why is he called Forlorn Stalker if he's holding a gun?
You have to stalk your prey and then shoot it.
But he actually is a beast. When you have the ability to literally turn into a giant fucking werewolf, what's the point of using a gun?
All right, I can't argue with you there. What are your thoughts on this? I haven't really been able to give this card much thought because it's pretty new.
I don't think there's really much thought to go into it. Its Battle Cry speaks for itself. There's no crazy thing you can do with it. It's not. It's only a rare. It's not even a fucking beast. I think we're done here. All right. Okay. The Mad Frost Mage.
Why did we end on such shitty cards?
My bad. We should have led up to good cards, but anyway.
We should have ended on the Rogue.
Yeah, my bad. 4-drop, 2/4. Mad Frost Mage. After you cast a spell, freeze a random enemy character.
That includes your opponent's face. Initial thoughts. This was just actually translated today of making the video, so we haven't had too much time to think about it.
I'm thinking of like some sort of like stall mage.
Why wouldn't you play water elemental though?
I don't fucking know. Water elemental's so much better.
I know.
And this even can be or it can be. Oh fuck! What the fuck's in my eye? I'm sorry, guys. I'm wounded. Priest, shadow priest. Oh my god. Tony, take over.
It can be Shadow Priest Rob. What the fuck is wrong?
I have no idea. It's like a giant moth just flew in my eye. It literally feels like there's something in my eye and it's huge. Oh my god.
All right, I'll take over.
Please do.
You handle yourself.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Mad Frost Mage, a 4-drop 2/4. It's very slow. It can't really deal with the board very much. It doesn't have much health to live. And you have to be able to combat with the spell because it's just probably going to die to a 3-drop or another 4-drop. So it's... And also, because it says freeze a random enemy character, you can freeze a mage's face or a priest's face or something that doesn't have any sort of face damage. Thanks, Matt.
Like a weapon. So it doesn't really matter. Like freezing a priest,
freezing a warrior,
they're never
hunter.
going to attack with their face.
Yeah, so freezing a warrior or a hunter, that might be beneficial. But a lot of times, if you need something frozen on the field and you cast a spell and it hits their face, you just fucked yourself.
How about you just play a card that can actually freeze that card instead of it being random? The
Why-
stats are decent. I don't
Why
get
wouldn't
it.
you just run Ice Lance?
Why is it
To be able to freeze what you want.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sure...
If it was a 3-drop, maybe. Maybe. That's
stats
hard.
are just so bad on it. Like, I guess you could do like the perpetual destruction of a warrior if he like it keeps freezing his face and they never has a chance to attack with a weapon and you run a bunch of spells, which is a really it's a possibility.
Well, warrior has so many removal spells that
I know. So it's
Bash
it's
would
really
kill this.
weird that they'd give this the stats it has for the cost it has.
I guess it does. It does stay out of a lot of range of spells. It survives Death Spite. Or sorry, not Death Spite. It survives War Axe. It survives a Bash. Survives a Slam.
I mean, yeah, they purposely put it at 4 HP, but if you're gonna have a minion cost 4 mana, I mean, fucking Flame Waker costs 3 mana, and its ability literally destroys people.
It's true. This is a...
You're paying 2 mana.
Man, why would you just not play Flame Waker? God damn.
Dude, my eye is starting to burn.
I'm sorry. Well, let's end this video soon then, because I mean that is the last card.
That is the last.
We
card.
ended on literally the worst card.
I'm sorry.
I think the Wisp might have been even worse, but no, the Wisp wouldn't even have been this bad. This card's pretty damn bad.
I see a patch over my eye in the next video. You know why? Like I seriously felt like something just punched my eyeball and then was like moving around in it. It was insane. Do you guys ever feel that?
Did you guys ever watch Prometheus with the fucking thing that goes in the guy's eye?
Oh my god! All of a sudden, it's just like my tummy blows open. Anyway,
tummy. God,
it's better than bosom.
Bosom is like your tits.
Oh, what?
Bosom is like this area.
Oh, tush. That's the word I was looking for.
That's ass.
I know. It's a funny word.
All right. Well, I mean, that's what we think about this. You guys put your thoughts in the comment section.
Yeah, always glad to hear what you guys have to say.
If you guys come up with cool combos, we'd like to hear that.
Oh, I would like to hear a cool combo with Frost.
Please, somehow validate this card for us, please, because we can't. Anyway.
As always, I'm Warshak.
I'm Tony.
And happy whatever the hell day it is. My eyeball.